the structure of the speech itself. This is going to be a very rudimentary structure that you can use in the future. It's pretty simple and basic, but trust me, especially if you're in a jam, it's great. So, you need to open up with a story of some sort. The story needs to set the tone of who you are, develop rapport with the audience, sets the tone for the rest of the speech, answer a few questions perhaps. Again, if they're coming in with assumptions, expectations, maybe objections to you being up there, why are we even listening to this guy? What is this kettlebell thing? This is kind of crazy. Why are we even talking about fitness? I just want to get my job done. Why are they even here? Then you might need to put a story about a client that was similar to them, worked a desk job, didn't like fitness at all, but the doctor told them they should do something, they were interested, so on and so forth. Okay? After that, you need to have 3 main points, generally speaking. And each of those points needs to have 3 stories, examples, or illustrations to demonstrate the main point of wisdom that you're sharing.
Can you repeat that again, please?
Yes. So, following your opening story, you need 3 main points, 3 key insights of wisdom that you're going to share. And then for each of those key insights of wisdom, there needs to be about 3 stories, examples, illustrations, case studies, statistics, you can go on and on. Anything that can help demonstrate and further prove your point. And then you have a closing. Right there, that's a pretty solid minimum 20-minute speech. Probably more like 40 or 45. You can go an hour and a half with that. It's pretty simple right there. But, of course, then it gets more complicated when you ask the question of, okay, so what's a story and how do I create one of those and what's the point? Okay. Stories are going to be your key to everything, I promise. Have you heard about stories, about developing your story and how that matters? Yes. Have you heard about stories and implementing them into copywriting from earlier? Yes. Now you can use those exact same stories in your speech. Every story, to make it effective, it can't just be about you. There needs to be a point, a theme, a universal truth attached to the story. That's what gives stories power. So, to just start with the one that I opened up with. You learned a little bit about me. You learned about a crisis in my life. And then I related it back to a crisis that you possibly were thinking of in your life. And then saying how I was able to take that crisis and make a solution to be who I am today. And through your crisis, you were to find your solution to be who you are today. Easy. So, Miss Beth?
Yes.
Yes. So, the few things that I remember about your story, because it is phenomenal, are female Marine, gave birth to a 12-pound baby boy.
Yeah, I won't forget that one.
God bless you. Whew. And gestational diabetes.
Yes.
And 5'4", 210 pounds.
219.
219. Got to get that 9 in there. 219. And had narcolepsy after the pregnancy with 9 years of trying to get doctors to figure out why you were so tired all the time and they just kept giving you pills.
Yep.
Great! That's a lot of stories that you can talk about. But if she were to come up here and for 20 minutes tell me her life story, I would be bored. I would be resentful, and I would be on my Facebook. It's the truth. So how do you make it still intriguing and compelling? You attach a truth to it. You attach a lesson to your story. So one of them that she and I had talked about when we were in our group together was particularly had the baby, was tired all the time, kept going to doctor after doctor after doctor saying, I'm tired, can we fix that? They said, you just need pills. She didn't want it. It took a car crash and almost killing a child for them to do a sleep study they could have done 9 years ago, for her to finally be diagnosed with narcolepsy. Right there, instantly, I'm seeing standing up for yourself. The medical community isn't always right. Standing up to authority, just because they're wearing a white coat doesn't mean that they have all the knowledge in the world and they're always correct. Staying true to yourself, and then overcoming an obstacle, no matter how long it takes. That's 6 that you can play around with? And that's just one story. So what you need to do with the exercises that you've done throughout this conference and your story is go through each of them line by line of, okay, this is my experience as a Marine, this is my experience as a parent, this is my experience with my health, this is my experience with this. And then in another column say, what are the universal truths of that experience? Perseverance, strength, self-esteem, loss of identity and finding it again. Going up against authority, I can't remember if I said that or not. Anything along those lines. And then now you have this story file that anytime you have any opportunity to speak, ever, you know, oh, okay, I've got a great story with a great lesson for this group. Questions on that one, because that's pretty big.
Can you explain the columns again?
Okay, so there's a big one over here. So in one column you're going to have your entire history and bio, basically. And again, tapping deep. Every experience you've possibly had. My brother stole my toy when I was a kid. I'm still pissed off about it. Great. It goes in the column. Anything that you can think of, and it will constantly be going on. This never stops. And then in the other column, a universal truth of some sort. And you can look at great literature when it comes to this. Love, vanity, deception, true friendship, the teacher and the student, transformation. These are universal themes used consistently in movies and books. And now you're just doing the same thing. We constantly need to be reminded of the common denominator in our humanity, and that is, like I said, it's love, it's joy, it's happiness, it's sadness, it's the human experience. But so often we're just in this, we're in autopilot mode and we're rushing and we're reacting instead of being proactive, and we constantly forget the core that makes us us. And that's where speakers really come in and do their magic, is we just come in and we help remind you. We don't have all this magic and this power. We just help you take a moment, tell you a story, so you can play a movie in your head, and then learn something from it. Yes?
Does the story always have to be yours? Like if I have a client who I think they have a story that, like, if I'm talking for a medical professional, one of my long-term clients is a doctor, and this is a great story he had that he shared with me.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So in telling other people's stories, that, especially in your profession, is going to be phenomenal. Because if you tell stories about your clients, then not only are you telling a transformational story with a lesson, but you're also establishing yourself as the expert who helped them reach from point A to point B. So the stories absolutely should not be always about you, because that's going to be boring. And if you have all the answers all the time, I'm just going to think you're an ass. You have to be humble in some sort of way. Your stories, you need to have the answers, you need to have given the answers to somebody, and you need to have learned the answers from somebody else. You need your Miyagi. You need your Mr. Miyagi in the speech at some point. You didn't always have the answers. Somebody had to teach them to you.